Hi, welcome to Ask Love Coach. Welcome to marriage class. Today we are going to be talking about 10 reasons why people withhold sex in a marriage. There are so many different reasons why people withhold sex in a marriage, of course. But is it the best approach? Of course not. But again, um, different gender, process things and act differently. For women or for female, it's often led by emotion. So anything could be wrong in the relationship and that can shut that part of their body down. Whereas for most men, it's easy for them to stay have sex even when the roof is falling down or even when they are crashing. So we're wired differently in that kind of aspect. Of course, we are the same people, we need the same things in a relationship, but a lot of things can be the reason why people shut down and people don't want to have sex in a marriage. But is that the best way to handle those situations? I think the best way will be for you to identify the root cause and talk about it openly and work together as a team. Withholding sex in a relationship can open doors to different things, to different many other problems. A lot of couples have actually divorced as a result of withholding sex, which led to the other person to cheat. It could even be that because the person cheated the first time and now you're withholding sex because of the issue that happened before, but it wasn't resolved. So it can be a range of different issues, but my point is it does not solve whatever the problem is. Instead, it will exacerbate the problem. It will magnify the problem. It will even double it, triple it, and quadruple the issue. So, talking about it openly in a respectful way, in such a way that both of you can hear each other and truly think of the best solution to move forward. And you not only profile solutions, but you have to be intentional with your actions on how to resolve the issue. Because oftentimes, people talk enough in the relationship. I've always said this in most of my classes. Talking about issues, discussing about issues in a relationship is one thing. Doing it and people having the emotional intelligence to work on the things that was, because some people just talk for the sake of it. They just know that here in a relationship you have to talk, you have to communicate. So they just check those boxes without actually interested in taking the talk into action. Anyway, I just want to stress the fact that marriage is it should not be complex. It should not be complicated. But it becomes complicated when people in it were not prepared to be in that marriage. When they don't know their roles in the relationship. So back to some of the reasons, just so you know, because sometimes people will say they don't know why, that this is the case because you haven't talked to your partner to know why this is happening in your relationship. This is not always the case for every people or every couple that faces sexless marriage or relationship. But these are some of the reasons. I've crafted 10 reasons for you to consider. Communication breakdown. If there are any form of conflict or unresolved issues in the relationship, of course, one person might be emotionally disconnected because, of course, they felt certain way. So, some people do not intentionally withhold sex, but because their body just shut off from the person they are in a relationship with because of how they feel. So, it's emotionally based kind of feeling. Some people withhold sex simply just to manipulate their partner or punish their partners. Some people genuinely need to be heard. They need a problem that is pressing in their heart, in their chest, to be resolved. So they are not withholding sex. So withholding sex is not often for punishment. But some people receive it as you want to punish me. Now you're giving me ticket and freedom to go outside and help myself out. That shouldn't be the first point of that should never be a consideration, especially if you're in a committed relationship or in a marriage. Your goal is to figure out what the situation is. What led to this communication breakdown? What is it that because you always know what your marital problem or your relationship issues are. But oftentimes we just ignore them because, again, like I said, people are not equipped to be in a relationship. So any challenge, they run. Any challenge, they want to hurt. Hurt is the solution as opposed to finding the real solution to the real issue. Communication breakdown is key. When somebody feels too frustrated about getting across to their partner, this person they really love, everything they've shared with them to say, this is how I feel. I don't feel safe about this. I'm not okay with this. So the more you talk about it, the person you're talking to, if they keep ignoring you, of course, they will be less attractive to you. So you not having sex with them is not even about I want to punish them. It's just I'm not really interested because you're not taking care of my heart. You're not taking care of my needs. So it's not so much about I want to punish you. The way I see punishment when it comes to withholding sex is pretty much I can have sex with you. There's no so much problem, but you know what? I just have to find a way to bring problem into this relationship. So I can't be bothered. I just want to scroll on my phone. I just want to do me, and that is it. So it comes from a selfish place. It's not anything about this is my feelings. I really need your attention so we can resolve this pressing need. Because especially when the person who is withholding sex is feeling like me having sex with you is like fulfilling your need. But one thing people need to understand that helps sex actually helps you to release stress. So withholding sex oftentimes is you're not doing yourself so much good. If you have a need, if you have any unresolved issue, just table it, talk about it, continue to talk about it until the person, you're not having sex for the other person, except you're not enjoying it. But if you are having sex, you're having it for yourself because it actually has its own benefits for everybody involved, the man, the woman. So sex shouldn't be for your partner. Sex should be for you as well. I understand, of course, we have different moods. The way we feel when we don't feel satisfied or happy with our partners, of course. And the partner is coming here for my body. It's like, are you serious? The best way to resolve issues is to identify the issues and figure out how to move and navigate through the issues, not to avoid sex with your partner. Because if you're dealing with someone who has low emotional intelligence, somebody who doesn't have any form of thinking faculty, you are actually worsening the case because a lot of people will just say, you know what, I just have to go and fulfill my need. And they don't care where they go with it. So you have to be mindful. Lack of intimacy is another reason. So a lot of people think about the sex and there's no intimacy. All through the day you are not nice to me. I am stressing out in this relationship. I don't feel supported. I'm constantly having to ask for help. I'm the only one doing everything that concerns the family. I'm the only one working. I'm the only one. Like, there's nothing about kindness from you. There isn't any form of emotional connection whatsoever. A lot of people just look at sex, it's just the physical aspect of sex. There's no, I'm caressing your mind. There's no, like you're drained. You're so worn out. They are so exhausted. It's like you're just a roommate. You are almost considered a complete waste of space. The emotional connection is dead, like it's dead. And there isn't any form of intimacy whatsoever. All we want to do is just penetration and that's it. Then I go back to stressing out in the relationship. I'm the only one paying the bills. There's no iota, no form of support whatsoever. Like nothing. My emotional needs are not met. Nothing of some any sort. So you see the person starts to withdraw. And when they withdraw emotionally, the physical aspect follows. But to water and soil, water any relationship, you have to nurture it. You have to keep pouring into it. You have to keep soiling it. Very important. Some people are okay with just with the physical closeness and that's it. Emotional connection doesn't have to be there. It does not affect the penetration. So, but for many, if the emotional connection is equally as important and if it's non-existent, that can lead to them shutting down completely. Like they don't want the sex is more like icing on the cake. A lot of people complain about sexless marriages and relationships. Only when there's health issue, I can understand it. But once there's a sexless marriage, trust me, the sexlessness is not the problem. There's bigger issues in the problem in the relationship that is causing the shutdown. I haven't seen any healthy relationship where there's lack of sex, except there's healthy problems or health issues there. Any healthy relationship where both parties feel fulfilled in the relationship, hardly you will see any lack of anything there. We are communicating, we can hear each other, we are pouring into each other, we're supporting each other, our needs are both fulfilled. The love is not one-sided. I'm not just the only one serving and serving and serving, because you become resentful. It builds resentment. It's a matter of time. And mind you, you have other life challenges. So it's not just the marital challenges. You have job, you have external factors, to deal with. And there's no place of peace for you pretty much. It seems as if you're just dragging yourself all around. If you check my video for the reason why people get married, you will see that this is part of the reason people get married. And you get married for companionship, for support, to build, to nurture, and none of that is pretty much non-existent. It's like you added extra stress to yourself. That can actually shut your body down, that you don't even feel sexually aroused. So having sex in that moment is like you're just going to wound your private parts pretty much. Like I said before, health issue is very understandable because, of course, um, it's health problem. You can't. It could be physical or mental. So it's not just, some might be going through depression, they are going through chronic pain, they have other medical conditions, that can make sex unappealing or uncomfortable. So yeah, so health issues. Every health issues is not physical. Some are non-physical, mental, emotional. So those can actually affect, especially the mental, that can affect. Past trauma is another reason. So some people might have had like really bad, sexual experiences, or they were sexually abused. That could mess up with their heads as well, their psyche, you know, and the the experience can affect them in it's more or less like it's wakening the dead part of the other experience they had. So it's like that experience and this experience look alike. So their brain does not know that this is a place they intentionally want to be and do this in a healthy way. And from the last experience, the way the brain remembers it is a little bit complicated because it's a place of fear, a place of shame, a place of abuse, and that can, or harm. So that can actually kind of, so again, it's important if you have had any form of sexual abuse or any kind of sexual trauma, no matter how little it is, if it's messing up in your head, because sometimes we withhold this information from our partners and they're unable to have any form of empathy with us because they don't have those information, and they are going by how you've expressed to them that they are not worthy to have sex with you. So the way they will process it will be different. It's like rejection. Let's be honest, rejection can be a little bit difficult for many of us to process. So, but someone who has, high level of emotional intelligence will want to explore to understand why you see sex in this way, why you don't want to have sex, why you're withholding sex, why you are so guarded when you are having sex. So, but until you let people into your heart, they will not be able to understand and sympathize with you and know how to handle you differently. So as a result, it will not help the relationship. So if you want to have a healthy relationship, it's important for you to let your guards down. It's important for you to do what you need to do. It's important for you to do diligence. It's important for you to talk about traumas that you have had. You were sexually molested, abused, you had any form of sex, whatever it might be for you, because that is where the pain and the fear comes from. So it's important for you to talk about it because you had the experience, but your partner may not have had the experience. And they're in a relationship with you because everybody's coming in with their individual issues into the relationship. So it's only fair for you to expose those fears so your partners will know how to handle and work with you so they don't feel rejected, neglected. Maybe they are not appealing to you because they will process it in a different way, and that can become trauma for them. So if you, who they care about or who they want to be in a relationship with, is constantly letting them down, rejecting them, when someone else says yes to them, of course, they will gear towards the person thinking that this person has my interest at heart. Now they feel validated. Now they feel needed. This is not rejection. So why should I be muscling and fighting all the time with you to gain access to your body when we've agreed to be in a relationship? It's not like there's some force, like I didn't cajole you or force you to be in a relationship with me, but it's like one of the ingredients we need for this relationship is not really here. So my encouragement for people in relationships or in a marriage will be not to withhold sex. It should never be a weapon against your partner because it means that you're working against your relationship, or your goal should be to work towards your relationship. Mismatched libidos. I know this is a little bit different. Sexual desires between the parties are a little bit different. They are operating from a different frequency. Some have high, some have low, or just, it's just in a limbo. It could be that the person is overwhelmed, the person is sexually like more pressure, like they have some feelings of pressure. So that could actually this can come from different this can be as a result of different reasons, because some people may have what do you call it again? They were circumcised and they tend to have like low, they're not they have low libido. Of course, that's not the only thing, but that could be one of the aspects. So compared to people who don't have, who have. And when you are the kind of person that has high libido, it's same as if you are just an addict or something. So that again could be because maybe the person will just go have one experience and be like, I'm done. Or let's say they come, they release, and it's like, okay, that's it. I need to recharge for another 5 hours or 10 hours before my body will come. Why some people will do back to back to back to back, you're wondering, did they take some medication or something? So because they have high libido. But anyway, whatever the case might be, mismatched libido can be a reason why people would not be always ready for sex whenever their partner is ready for sex. It seems as if there's some tussle here in terms of I have high libido, low libido. I'm not always ready when you're ready. Uh-huh. Power dynamics is another reason. Um, some partners, again, this can be a form of abuse, because anything that has to do with control manipulation for me is a little bit of abuse, just lingering there. So in some cases, some use it to kind of insert power on the other person. So they withhold it. It's like, when I want it, that's when it goes down. Again, the selfishness of human nature comes into this whole thing. They take it to their marriage and they're wondering why this marriage is just so wrong. Or it could be that, okay, again, it's another way for you to punish or exert some dominance or over your partner. So power dynamics is another big one that a lot of people may not know that is actually what's going on, but that is what ends up happening. Infidelity or betrayal, of course, the person who betrayed you, who was unfaithful to you, they're unattractive to you at this point. So sex for you is almost like, I'm not interested, because this is supposed to be something that is special between the two of us, but it looks like I'm not that special to you. Someone else has access. So what difference does it make? So unfaithfulness can shatter someone's emotional, um, the trust they built or had towards the other person, because they feel hurt and resentful. So that is one of the main reasons people would want to withhold sex, because I feel hurt towards your actions. Unresolved resentment is kind of linked to unresolved um, trauma or past trauma. But the feeling of bitterness has a way of chipping away people's emotional connection, or that whatever feelings you have for your partner, it has a way of just diminishing it, because there's bitterness somewhere. It could be also maybe because they betrayed you. It could be because there's an infidelity. It could be when you feel unsupported. It could be a result of different things, but you just are not willing to let go. So as long as that is still in your body, you're going to respond in that manner, because truly you have not let go of whatever the unresolved issues are. You still have this resentment towards your partner. Religious or cultural beliefs. Some people just believe that because of their religious belief, they want to please God or their culture. This shouldn't be happening. So it's based off pretty much on the religion and the culture. That's why they're withholding sex. If they feel that is contrary to their religious beliefs or their cultural beliefs, they might want to say, you know what, I'm going to withhold sex until I'm married, or until whatever it is, whatever the cultural beliefs are or whatever the religious beliefs are. So personal discomfort or disinterest. It could be that you are too stressed. Oh my goodness, like your stress level is over the roof. So it could be that You are transitioning, you're moving house, you are looking for your dream job, you're trying to increase your financial benefits, you are trying to develop in certain areas, whatever it is, but it relates to fatigue, stress, or you are overworking, you're doing 3 jobs, 4 jobs, you're working long shifts, long hours. But yeah, a lot of that could affect you, or it could be that you just have physical discomfort. Maybe certain you have certain issues on your body, that you're not really comfortable about. That can also make you not be willing to have sex. So these are some of the reasons. Um, but like I said, it's very important for couples to talk about the underlying issues, because withholding sex means something. It does not always mean it's punishment, but except this is punishment. And if it's punishment, then you're not looking to build a relationship. Punishing, manipulation, it shouldn't be happening. It shouldn't be happening. That you have to be able to express your needs and ask for what you want to see change in the relationship. So that, because the more you connect, you have intimacy and sex, it helps you to build strong bond and connection. And as a result, you're able to actually grow and soar in different aspects of your relationship, especially as individuals and as a team. So communication is really key for you to have a healthy relationship, and you have to be able to have empathy for one another. You have respect. Address every issue. Do not sweep anything under the rug, because it will come back. It will come back. When you say you're forgiving your partner, your husband, your wife, especially let's say they betrayed you, or there's an infidelity or any form of resentment, anything that has made you to build resentment of any sort. If you say you've forgiven them, you have to let go. Because oftentimes we say we've forgiven you, we want to stay in this relationship. If you know you cannot release the person fully, then leaving the relationship might be an alternative for you, as opposed to being so miserable in a relationship. Life is too short. Come on now. Life is too short for people to stay miserable in relationship. Relationship should be one of those, you know, those the aspect of your life where you shouldn't be stressing out. Job can stress you out, business can stress you out, a lot of other things can stress you out. But this person you picked to share your life with should not be the reason why you're miserable. It shouldn't. If you can't release people when they wrong you, then you have to release them. Either you choose to release them and truly release them, or walk away. Walk away. Not only you are keeping poison in yourself, but you're also spreading the poison within the confine of your home, because your partner is not having peace as a result of your behavior. They are not getting sex. Sex is a great way for people to reduce. There are so many medical benefits for sex for both men and women. So this is a great, if nothing, is a great way to release stress. And here you are withholding it. And for someone who has high libido, somebody who really wants to actually like explore and enjoy themselves and be in that kind of situation, you're depriving them just because, and you're well. It's not like you have any health problems. We have to learn how to use our words. Very important. You can express yourself. If you're marrying someone you can express it, then there's a problem. That's why it's very important for you to marry someone who has your interest, that has somebody you can openly talk to, you can be vulnerable with, and not leave half of yourself. You want to live fully around the person. So if you have that kind of level of limitation, that means you didn't pick right. You want to be yourself around the person you picked. Except there are other ways you want to tell me. Let's say they paid you, they used you to pay for a collateral that the family couldn't pay, and they said, now take this person and marry the person. So it's like you didn't partake in the choice. You are used to pay off a debt, family debt or something, or maybe it's cultural. But if you pick this person, you should be able to express your desires, your needs and wants from them. Express your dissatisfactions. Express your discomfort. Express anything that bothers you, anything that makes you feel disengaged with them, to the point you are in a position where you are not sexually involved and attracted, especially if the reason is not because of health issues, whether physical or mental issues. So I'm just closing on the note that there's no reason for you to withhold sex, only if there's a medical condition. Instead, learn how to use your words and express yourself. And if you cannot, instead of staying miserable, why don't you consider other options? Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope the lesson was really of some help to you. As always, if you need to connect with me, you know what to do. My website is available for you to access. You can book your sessions with me, or you can email me, you can leave a comment. You can follow us on other social media platforms as well, but continue to stick with us here. Press the notification bell so you are notified every time we post on this channel. Thank you so much.